Hey everyone, it's Keisha. Thank you so much for tuning into my YouTube channel, Keisha Delva Creative. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been here for a while, thanks so much for coming back. I'm a licensed mental health therapist who is passionate about all things related to financial freedom, travel, and mental health and wellness. Today, I'm going to be talking about minimalism and how it has helped me along on my debt-free journey. If you're interested in that topic, please keep watching. The concept of minimalism in its simplest form is promoting the things in our lives that we find value in and eliminating things that distract us from them. I learned that minimalism could be helpful to me on this journey because it taught me to appreciate quality over quantity. So I now make an effort to invest in things that are better quality, that will last longer, that have some sort of a useful function for me in my life and bring me some type of joy. Anything that I owned that didn't fit into one of those previously mentioned categories, I either donated them to charity or I repurposed them in some way so that I could use them for other things. And since doing that, since reducing the amount of things that I own, I have found that I have a deeper appreciation for the things that remain, and I'm less likely to go out and spend money on things that I don't need. One of the biggest categories that I have practiced minimalism with has been my clothing. I used to own quite a large amount of articles of clothing, and I'm not even someone that I would necessarily consider to be the biggest shopper, but I did appreciate going shopping, and I realized that I used to use buying clothes as almost a way of self-medicating for issues that I didn't want to face head on. Back in 2016, I was working at a job that I really didn't like. I felt like it was kind of sucking the life and spirit out of me. And I made great money at that job, so I continued to hold on to it. But because I was so unhappy, I found myself engaging in practices like going shopping and spending money unnecessarily in order to kind of appease those feelings of dissatisfaction and discontentment with my life. And a big part of that was I would go out on shopping sprees and spend money on clothing hauls that would cost me a couple of $100s at a time. And it always made me feel better to go shopping and own new, cute, trendy things. But of course, that feeling wouldn't last because I wasn't actually addressing the circumstances that were causing me to be unhappy. So I would go out and repeat and do the same thing. And after a period of time, I had amassed a collection of clothing that really was just taking up space in my life and acting as a distraction from me addressing things that really should have been more of a priority to me. So when I first started looking into minimalism, I decided to go through all of my clothing. I took everything out, put it all on the floor, and sorted them into categories. And the categories that I took a look at were things that I wore and really liked owning. And then there were things that I really liked but never wore. And there were things that I wore all the time, but actually didn't particularly like them. And then there were things that I never wore and didn't like at all. I designated each article of clothing into one of those 4 categories. And by doing that, I was able to eventually get to the point where I only owned clothing that I both really enjoyed owning, felt good about wearing, and actually used on a regular basis. Everything else I donated to charity or I repurposed them and used them for things like patches on other clothing or cleaning rags and things like that. And it's true what they say that by decluttering your space, you kind of declutter your mind and your heart too, because you have less things in your household that are distracting you from the things that really matter and the things that you should really be prioritizing. Minimalism has also helped me to be less vain and less superficial. I no longer feel the need to hide behind pieces of clothing that I own. I don't feel that owning certain clothing brands or certain articles of clothing makes me a better person or a more liked person or a more attractive person. Through the process of practicing minimalism, I have found a greater appreciation for who I am. And I feel that my clothes are a reflection of my personality, not the other way around. So the things that I wear don't define me. And I no longer feel a need to continue to buy and own more and more things to make me feel like I'm more of a complete person. And it's funny actually talking about all of this. This is my first time making a video about minimalism, and I'm getting a little bit emotional talking about it because I feel like, you know, we live in a very consumerist society, a very capitalistic society. If you're in America, anyway, that's where I am. And there's always this focus on owning more things and spending more money. And, you know, we're led to believe that by owning more and buying more, it'll somehow make us better, happier people. But I have found the opposite to be true. I have found that by learning to appreciate what you have and by living simply, you find a deep sense of gratitude and appreciation for what you own. And I don't consider myself to be an expert in minimalism by any means. There are a lot of great channels on YouTube that focus solely on minimalism and do a great job of explaining how a person can start to incorporate minimalist practices into their lives. But I just wanted to come on and at least say a little bit about what minimalism has done for me and how I have learned to practice gratitude for the things that I have. And by doing so, I'm no longer compelled to go out and own the newest, shiniest, trendiest things. And that has really helped me to save money and learn how to be more, not only financially responsible, but also responsible to the earth, and making sure that I'm doing a better job of not being wasteful and not supporting companies and businesses that harm the environment. But that's all I have to say about minimalism for now. I would like to come back and revisit minimalism. I actually, if you're interested, I have an article on my blog about decluttering my space and creating a minimalistic wardrobe. If you're interested in that, you can head over to KeishaDelvaCreative.com/blog to find more about that. But my entire reason for looking into minimalism in the first place was because I have a goal of being a world traveler. And it's very hard to be a world traveler when you own a lot of things. You can't exactly carry your house on your back or every single item of hundreds of pieces of clothing that you own with you. So it made sense for me to declutter, go through things that I didn't really need, and donate them to people who could actually find joy in them and get use out of them more than I was. That's all I have to say for now. Tell me, do any of you practice minimalism? Have you incorporated any sort of minimalist practices since starting your debt-free journey? I would love to hear more about that. I think there's been an interesting community of people who are minimalists and people who are on a debt-free journey where they've kind of come together and merged because they actually have a lot of the same goals in common. And I think that's really cool. So I guess I'm one of those people now. I am a beginner minimalist who is on a beginner debt-free journey, and I'm interested in learning more and more about both sides. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful and you want to see more content like this, please comment below. Please like the video, and of course share it with anyone that you think might find it helpful. If you're not yet subscribed to my channel, but you find yourself coming back and watching here and there, please consider subscribing. I really appreciate the support, and it lets me know that you are enjoying the content that I'm producing. Thank you so much for watching and for your time. Take care. Bye.